What do Olympians and engineers or engineering students have in common? Woo-hoo!
I learned 3 things from the Olympics that I think can apply to you and your career as an engineer or as a hopeful engineer if you're a student. If you look at an Olympian, what can you see, right? They're in fantastic physical shape, they're very talented, and they've worked very, very hard, not only these past 4 years to get to the Olympics, but also probably their entire lives. If you think about it, engineers really aren't that different. So I just finished playing tennis, got my butt whipped by this machine over there. And I've been thinking about the Olympics as I've been watching them and just seeing the amazing stories and the feats that they're achieving, like the pommel horse guy who's also an electrical engineer. Whoop, whoop, go double E. What made me think about all this is that, okay, so these men and women have been training for so long to get to this point. In a way, actually, so have you. If you already have your degree, it doesn't matter if it's an electrical, chemical, computer, civil, whatever, any of the disciplines, you've actually had to go through pre-K, kindergarten, all the way 1st through 5th in America. Then you go to middle school 6th through 8th. And then you go to high school 9th through 12th grade. Now you finally get to college and you have to do 4 more years just to get your bachelor's. And if you got your master's, that's 2 more years. So actually, if you add it all up, let's not even count kindergarten, but you've got 12 years from 1 through 12, high school. 4 more, so 16 years. So you've actually been training your whole life to be an engineer. So now the hard work and the talent. It's very obvious how talented these people are in the Olympics, right? I mean, to be able to be the fastest person, and not only in your country, but potentially the world, that's crazy. You're in the 0.00001%. So engineers, do we need talent as well? Actually, if you think about it, yes, we do. You have to have very good science skills, math skills, good logic typically, be able to analyze problems and apply solutions to them. Not everybody can do this. Not everybody can be an engineer. It's the same way that not everybody can be an Olympian or a professional tennis player or basketball player or surgeon or lawyer or any other profession. Being an engineer is a profession. So if you see those people that are on there performing, they have devoted and dedicated their time and their lives. And in a way, as I just went over it, you've spent at least 16 years getting here if you're already here. If you're not here, you've got to keep going and run this gauntlet. So it's a combination of talent and hard work. Now, certainly, right, you need less talent to be an engineer than an Olympian, but still, at the Olympics, it's displayed for the world to see your talent. And as an engineer, that also becomes a factor when you are actually employed and solving problems, creating solutions. Now, the hard work part, that is universal. Not only do these people train for days and days on end, and you might have seen them training up in Colorado with high elevation, they've got an Olympic center there and all that, but you're training as well, right? Think about it. All those times you've had extra homework, all those times you've been to school, if you add up the amount of hours you've actually been in school at an average of about 2,000 hours after 16 years, you spent 30 to 40,000 hours of your life going to school and hoping to become an engineer and creating a career for yourself. Now that is hard work. Now, the thing is this though, okay, that's sort of the baseline limit. If you want to stop right there, that's fine. I've got a lot of colleagues I've worked with in the past that think that that's just enough. It's enough just to become an engineer and then all your education stops. Well, if you really want to get to a high level, you can continue on. The schooling should not stop. You should never really stop learning. You're more than welcome to stop, and that's fine. But then that'll just be mediocre. And if you are okay with that, that's totally fine. No problem. The engineer could just be a part of you. You go to your job, you make money for yourself and your family, and that's that. You don't have to keep improving your skills, whether technically, socially, or understanding how to communicate properly, all of these things. That's one reason why actually I'm doing these videos. I want to be a better communicator, and I hope that I can convey some of this to you. You also have to have perseverance and grit. And it is very obvious what these athletes go through in that if they fail, or let's say they fall off the gymnastics rings or the pommel horse, or a swimmer has a bad dive or whatever it is, right? If they fail, you see that, yes, they're of course disappointed because now the world is watching them, but they persevere. Can you imagine how many times they've fallen and failed while they were training? and getting to this point in the Olympics. So each time they could have quit. They could have said, you know what, I can't do this dive. I'm just going to stop. I don't want to do this anymore. No, they tried and tried and tried and tried and tried again until they finally got it. That's very obvious, especially if you look at trick sports like skateboarding or snowboarding or any of those types of things. And then let alone individual sports like tennis. Those people have gone through so many losses that it's crazy, but it's hardened their minds, right? It's really made them understand that, okay, you know what, I can get back up. I can do this thing. Well, as engineers, how many times, think about you in school, whether that was high school or college or graduate school, or you've encountered a problem and gosh, you couldn't get through it, or you had to create a solution for something and it just wasn't working and you want to just bang your head up against the desk. Those are the moments that actually really matter, because you could have quit. I don't know about you, but when I was in college some time ago now, there were a lot of weed out classes, which I'm sure is very, very common, not only in America, but throughout the whole world. The point of engineering is to go through this gauntlet and then apply certain key elements that you've learned and all that. Me now, as an engineering hiring manager working in the power industry, those are the things I look for when I'm hiring. Can this person solve problems? Can they pick themselves back up? If they have a setback, what can they do with their minds? Well, the thing is this, I know that just by being in this interview, for instance, if I'm interviewing you, you would have already had your EE degree or your mechanical or whatever it is. I know the gauntlet you've gone through. You've joined this engineering brotherhood, this fraternity, if you will, that every time I meet somebody who's an engineer, I know exactly what they've done and they've dedicated themselves and their lives to becoming this person. And that says a lot. So as soon as I find out that somebody's an engineer, I have a preconception about them. And in my case, of course, because I'm an engineer also, it's a positive one. So these people that are at the Olympics, yes, they have validated themselves. They've gone through, they've persevered. They have a lot of grit. Grit is a really good word. It means, can you stick to something, right? That problem we were just discussing. Did you come back through? Did you solve it? Did you try it again? Did you get help? That's fine. It's totally okay to get help. In fact, working as an engineer, you'll notice that it's never really going to be just an individual effort anymore. You're always going to be working in teams. So it's fine to get help. But what did you do to get through this problem? And that's where you can feel your mind just bending and cracking and, the frustration. But then you power through, right? You go through it, and then it's the most incredible feeling in the world. Oh, I got through it. Yes. You're very happy. There are many times I can remember this feeling. And it's just one of those incredible things. When I was getting my master's, I was delayed. Some of it was my fault, but long story short, one of my professors ended up leaving and sort of left me high and dry. So I was delayed for about a year in getting it. And that final semester, I decided, man, I'm gonna write this thesis. I'm getting through it. I'm so done. I need to power through this. And I just summoned all my willpower, and it was an incredible 3-4 months of just wrapping it up and defending. And I remember that day when I finally finished and I defended, that elation that I felt was unbelievable. But why did I feel that elation? Why did I feel so good? It's because of all of that hard work that I had just put into this effort, and it finally paid off. The professors are very happy. My parents were there. Your friends are there. It's one of those moments in life where you realize I'm never going to be the same after this moment. And that's exactly what you witness with these Olympians here, right? So me being from Serbia, of course, not only am I an electrical engineer, I guess it's very typical, and I also play tennis, just like Djokovic. But when he won the Olympics just now, that was an incredible moment. You can just see all the emotions, and this man has won everything you could ever imagine to do on a tennis court. And this had eluded him 4 or 5 tries. So I think this is his 5th time trying it or something. So in 16 years, he's been trying and trying and trying, and he can't get it done. He can't get it done. And finally, you can see just when he broke down on the court. If you haven't seen that video of him, it's amazing. I suggest you take a look at it. And he's visibly shaking, and this guy is on the way to becoming a billionaire. He's got everything you could want in life. Everything. And he's not playing for money or anything here, but he broke down. He was playing for his country. He was playing for himself, all of those things that he wanted. And you can see what it meant to him because he knows all the hours that he put in. So like I said, at this point, you've probably put in 20 to 30,000 hours. And that's what that elation feels when you finally finish that. That's why the graduation day is important, and so on and so forth. So that's what grit means, right? You didn't stop. You could have stopped any given moment, right? To come back full circle, the story about people in class, there was so many weed out courses. Heck, even the circuits class that I took, if you weren't in electrical, people did not like that, and you needed to get a B at least to advance. So people left. You know, think about how many people started it. I remember a brutal one was Calc 2. We had an old professor, brilliant man, but this guy was, you know, from a different era, and he was going a million miles an hour, and he was very hardcore. And I thank him for this now, because that class really made me realize, wow, that was hard. That was hard work. That's what you have to do to get through these programs. And this guy was something else. But the class started with about 35 or 40 people, and I think only about 10 of us finished. And that's it. That's the grit and the perseverance. Because, yep, I could have quit, and now I think back on that. That was a big moment. Was it the hardest thing that I've ever done in my whole life? No, but it was damn hard for me then. And, I take that win. And finally, you have to be a professional. So what does that mean? It means that you show up every single day, even if you're tired or you're not feeling great, you're sick, or you're hungover, no judgment here. So you have to show up every single day. You have to do things that you don't want to do. Okay, this morning, I decided I'm going to go play tennis. But you know what? I was up a little bit later last night. I had to finish some stuff. And I woke up 5:45, got some time in on the court, and this machine, I wanted to do this workout. So no, I didn't feel good getting out of bed. You know what? Now that I've done my time here and I'm sitting here talking to you people, it feels really, really good just to be out here. My heart rate went up and all that. So you have to be a professional, okay? Not only in taking care of, in this case here, taking care of my body, but in taking care of your career and everything else. When you have a job, what do? You are a professional. You get up every day. You may not like it. You may not like the commute and all that, but that's what it means. That's what it means to become a professional. And that's what you've done in the past as a student. You've dedicated yourself, you have pushed through, and that's what it means. And I hope that you apply that to every aspect of your life. And if you truly want fantastic results in your life and your career, you've got to continue doing this even after you graduate and after you have your job. Many people don't make the mistake of thinking that, hey, you know what? This is it for me. I don't need to learn anymore. I'm just done. I'm an engineer and I'm going to have a good life. Yeah, we will, but you're going to leave a lot on the table. And I'm needing to make another video on that. But please let me know what you thought about this format. I figured just kind of impromptu, as opposed to kind of being in a room. Subscribe. This helps the channel. It encourages me to do more and more of these videos. And let me know what else you'd want to see. Thank you.